Good afternoon. Here we go. Um, Not real sure about this. As most of you know, I absolutely hate going solo, but I was feeling like it's been a while since we've done an episode of It's No Secret, and it was super important that I sign on and at least give it a shot by myself today. So here we go. And yeah, for the first time, I'm gonna talk about my own shit, and it's been a lot of shit the last week, maybe a little more than a week now. I guess almost two, when I count everything that has happened. But as most know, my son is an addict, and we've been struggling for a lot of years, and on and off the wagon per se, and sometimes we're okay and sometimes we're not, but we spend a lot more time of not okay than we do okay, and super difficult sometimes. And this last round has been more difficult and more frightening than the majority of the experiences I've had, though some of them have certainly been quite frightening. He's a typical um, addict, somebody that struggles, and he is a great manipulator, especially when it comes to me. He knows how to do that and do it well. Um, and I fall for it every single time. And um, you would think that I wouldn't by now, that I would have learned many lessons over the 14 years that we've struggled, but I definitely have not. Um, he's gone missing many times, sometimes for days on end, where I don't know where he is, but he always keeps in contact because he always wants to convince me that he is in trouble and needs money, and um, he needs to pay somebody, or um, something has happened. And a lot of the times, I play sucker to that. I play victim to that, and I give in because I want so much for him to just be okay. I would do anything and everything for him to be safe, and so I fall into the trap. Uh, this last couple of weeks was very different, though. He went missing, and I absolutely did not hear from him. I had just his phone, which had a tracker on it. And so I knew where he was uh, when he didn't come home. Uh, I knew where he was the first evening, and all of the different places he had gone. And one of the places that he was at, and was at for several hours, appeared to be on the map this very secluded wooded area, where he spent 3 hours of time, and then his phone moved in the middle of the night to a location that was closer to home. Uh, so the next day, when he still wasn't home, I decided that I would go to where it said his phone was, knock on the door, and I was told he was not there. And so I wanted his phone, and I told the young woman that was there that I wanted his phone, and she tried to tell me at first that she didn't have it. And of course, I knew it was not true, and was able to show her that I knew it wasn't true. And she gave me his phone. But it had been wiped clean of all of the the messages and phone calls and things that he has made and done for about a month's time. In some cases, a little more than a month, where people had just been deleted altogether. And I keep really good track of his phone, so a lot of the messages I had already saved and knew who he was communicating with. But they had been deleted to that point, and still no word, and still no word, and still no word. And on the fifth day, things got really difficult. I was visited by somebody who he hangs with and struggles with. And this person came to my home and told me some really devastating things, that she was present when some horrible things had happened to Craig. And at that point, the fear became greater than probably anything I had ever experienced before, because at that point, I didn't know what had happened to him, and I knew that this person was telling me that she knew that something not good had happened to him. And so I had to make the decision to go to the police and get them involved. And most grateful for them. I live in the town now, but know people on the city force, and decided that I would go and see Randy Tucker. And Randy's had a lot to do with Craig, and he knows the situation and has known many things that, you know, we've been involved with and dealt with over the years. And I just felt comfortable, and like that would be a safe space for me to be, and to talk to him about what I was told and what I heard. And Randy contacted the Berrytown police, and Officer DePrato willingly came right down to the city department and spoke with me and took my information. And he, too, was concerned, just like Randy was, just like I was. And it stepped up a notch of us looking for him and what was happening. And there was no shortage in fear at this point, not knowing where he was or what was happening. And I only knew what this person had told me earlier, that they witnessed something horrible happening to him. And then I was told what no one ever wants to hear, that he was found deceased. And my whole entire world literally just came collapsing down around me. Petrified doesn't begin to explain. And then not knowing, and the thoughts of how it could have happened or what happened were, I can't even put it into words. It was like nothing I had ever felt before. And I told my family that he was gone. And then just thankfully, hours later, we learned that that was not so. and he was okay, and he was coming home. That roller coaster was the worst roller coaster I have ever been on, while dealing with all of this for all of these years. Not t- Going from thinking that he was deceased to then knowing that he was not, and that he was on his way home. I was still at the point where I didn't know what to believe. The several days I was being lied to by so many different people, and um, people were pointing me in all different directions. And of course, I was talking to people within the circle, so I'm talking to people that definitely are trying to make sure that nobody's looking at them, nobody's going to talk to them, that I'm not sending law enforcement their way. So the manipulation and the lies and the feelings just were building and building and building. And until I saw him, I still refused to believe it was true, because in my mind, he was still in that secluded wooded area. I was convinced that that's where he was, and that what the person had told me that very morning was true. And so until I saw him, and then when I did see him, when we were reunited, um, anger, fear, sadness, and happiness all at once. It was just this bag of emotions that I didn't even know what to do with or how to process. And I still don't. I'm still not sleeping. It's been over a week now. I'm still not sleeping. I'm constantly wondering and worried. I was able to get him into a treatment facility, but as we all know, 14 days. He's there for 14 days. 14 days isn't shit. It's not shit. It's a detox. That's all it is. He will get no help, no treatment. They will detox him. I am still very unsure if he has done permanent damage to himself this time. He certainly took a whole lot of drugs. He says that he was trying to commit suicide. Again, that could be manipulation. I don't know. But he says that he just wanted it to be over because he knows that he's never going to win. That no matter what he does, he feels that he is never going to be well. And that's very hard to hear as well. There is nothing that I can do to make him feel better about that. There's nothing I can do to change that for him. No matter what I say or what our family says or how many supports he has, there's nothing I can do to change the way he feels about himself or the path that he's on, or the fact that he feels that he will never be okay and that he's not even worthy of being okay. That is something that he has to understand on his own. And truthfully, I don't know that he ever will feel that way. And So now the concern is not just his addiction, um, but whether or not he will not try to do something again, um, to commit suicide, to leave us. And um, it's just one more part of the puzzle that somehow we need to try to find help for. And I'm not even sure where to look at this point. I have no idea. I just the deceit and the lies and the hurt that he's caused my family and me and people that truly love and care about him. It makes it so hard to understand um, why I can't just stop it. I don't. I just. I don't. I don't understand. Um, where we go from here, I don't know. I don't even know where he's gonna live at this point when he gets out of detox. I have no idea. Um, I don't know um, if we can find a sober living environment that he can live in that is he can sustain in, and that he's um, going to get the support that he needs. And I don't know that he's going to be willing to accept that support. He always, I mean, he gets in these places and he does it really well for a little while. He gets a good job. Everyone always says what an amazing worker he is, what a hard worker he is, how kind he is. Um, but he always finds a way to sabotage that, and I don't understand why. He It never lasts very long. And the only thing that we can do is hope and pray that this time is the time that he does it, and that I don't get a call that says that he's gone, and that call is real this time. Like, that's your biggest fear. You can lay here all night long and think, okay, he's gone, he's not here. I don't know where he is, but I can have those same feelings when he's literally in the room right next to me, and I know he's here, but I know he's here struggling, and I know he's here hating on himself, and he's depressed, and he's crying, and he's having nightmares. I can hear him in the night. And so I always know that he's not well, and I don't know what to do. And I don't think any of us know what to do. And I say that all the time, that it's up to them. And I'm just not sure that he will get to the point where being up to him means that he gives it his all, that he gives it 100%, or if he is just going to choose to continue to use or to harm himself because he's truly given up. And he knows he really hurt a lot of people this time. And how that has made him feel, I'm told. I have not gotten to talk to him yet since I dropped him off. So I only know what I'm being told by the people that are trying to help him detox, that the way he's feeling right now about what has happened is not good, and that he's really not okay with the way he left things, and the disappointment that he's caused others. And um, so I'm just really concerned for him. And Um, I hope that we can find a place for him to be, that he can feel supported and understood, and that he can get the actual help that he needs, that goes far beyond detoxing, far beyond any 14 days. And I hope that we can get to a point that when he is here and he's out and he's trying, that we can find a counselor that's going to last more than 2 or 3 sessions before they leave, and that we're not waiting 2, 3, 4, or 5 weeks in between for another counselor to be assigned, and where there's absolutely no service whatsoever. There have been times where he's going along, he's going really good, he's found somebody, he's connected with them, he's talking, and then that person leaves. They're no longer providing service in the area, and then there's nothing. There's nothing except for sitting in his room by himself on his bed with no one that understands what is going through his mind, what he's trying to process on his own. And that's just not okay. It creates further depression. It causes him to feel more hate and be more angry. Most often the anger is totally directed at me, which causes me to very much have a love-hate relationship with him. I love him so very much, but I hate who he has become. I hate the addict. I love my son. I hate the addict, and I really do. And it literally comes down to sometimes me wanting to just hit him. I want to just grab a hold of him and shake the shit out of him. Or when he came home, I'm so happy to see him and I want to hug him, but I also want to just punch him for doing that to me, and for being gone all those days, and for me thinking that he was dead, and for my family thinking those things. Yeah, I don't know. It's really at a point where I get tired of hearing almost on a daily basis, there are all kinds of services. There are plenty of services. If people want the help, they'll get it. And that is probably the furthest thing from the truth, because there are people that do want help. They seek help, they start getting help, and then that help isn't maintained. It's not maintained in the system. And we constantly are talking about things, housing crisis and homelessness, and a lot of that could be addressed if we addressed this, if we addressed addiction and we addressed mental health. Those things would all fall into place too. The majority of the people that suffer from homelessness suffer from addiction and mental health, and it's come down to a choice of them having their drugs or a place to live, and they're always most likely going to choose drugs. And until we fix that, we're not going to advance where we are now. And I understand it's the cost, but we throw so much money at so many things, but we're not fixing the actual problem. Thousands and thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars has been spent housing homeless over the last few years. And I'm not saying that we that we shouldn't spend money to try to help people with that crisis. What I am saying is that most of the people there, it just gave them an opportunity to do what they've been doing homeless. They lived free while they're continuing to use. And we can't do that anymore. There's been a lot of money spent on those sorts of services, but not on the right services. And we need to start doing something more about that. And I know that each state was given quite a bit of money to fight the opioid crisis, but I don't know how they're spending it. I know that it's not spending it on getting people the help they need. That's for sure, because I'm up against the wall myself right now. That there are all kinds of things that I could send him to that are private. They cost a fortune. Exactly. They need to stop making it an out-of-pocket cost to get help. I don't know how that'll work, but it needs to work. We need to find a way to do it, and we need to find a way to have more services because there's just not enough, and the wait lists are so long, and they're so long that that is part of the reason why you can only stay in a center for 14 days, because there's a whole list a mile long of people that are ready and waiting to get those same services. So I don't know. I guess, like I say to others, we just have to stick together. We have to be willing to talk about it. We need to be willing to shout about it and go before our legislature. We have to start fighting for these things that truly matter, and this matters. My kid's life matters. Tyler Matthews' life mattered, and it basically gets shit on because they have a problem. And when I say that, I'm often reminded by something that Dottie said once, way back when I first met her. And I was very much struggling with trying to understand all of this. And I was angry, and I wanted him to just stop it. And Dottie said to me, if your child had cancer and needed treatment, would you go to the ends of the earth to help them survive? And my answer is, of course. And this is no different. No different at all. So I don't know what the answer is. I don't know how we're going to do it. I know I beg and beg and beg, and I talk and talk and talk. And, my son's involved in the Treatment Corps program. I wish that they would let moms and dads of addicts also be a part of that program and a part of the process. I know I'm in court every other Monday with him, and I've always participated in all of that, but no one has ever once asked me. I've sent letters to the court. I've asked to speak in court, and no one once has ever asked me what I thought would help my son. They're okay that he lives with me. They're okay that I give him shelter and food and try to keep him on the straight and narrow. But they're not okay with making me part of the process. Um, why can't I know what his UAs say? If he's living under my roof, why can't I know if he's suddenly producing dirty urines? Why can't I be a part of the process and the part of how he's monitored and the rules for him? And even if he didn't live with me, if I'm willing to be a part of that support, I should be able to be a part of that support. And I'm not. And no one is. And if you're going to have a program like that, it's a great program. But I think that it should involve parents. It should involve family members, community members that that want to help work toward change and that are trying to be out in this community spreading the message and helping others to understand and fighting the stigma and teaching even. There's a candlelight vigil coming up at the end of the month, which I'll go to. I go to every year, and I encourage everyone to go. It's in Hartford. Being there online is one thing, but being there in person, there's nothing like it. And chances are you know someone on the list. There's over 300 names, 300 candles lit that night. And this year, we'll light one for Tyler. And but I think that we should get a friggin' bus, and that everyone that is in the treatment court program should be bussed down there, and they should hold a candle, and they should say a name. They should say a friggin' name. Because that is reality. To stand there and hear the cries of a mom as their child's name is read, or to hear a child cry because their mom or dad's name is read. That should happen. Because that's reality. That is the reality for everyone that sits in that courtroom every other Monday. And that's just one of the many realities that I think should be a part of this program. And I invite everyone. I invite everyone watching. I invite everyone to come. And God forbid, if you have a name that you want to add to that list, please reach out and let me know. There are a lot of them. And we will be there. And we will honor your loved ones and my loved ones. And it's streamed, so you can watch it at home if you're somebody that can't go. But I encourage you to be a part of that, because it's a real harsh reality to hear and to see. So that, with all of that, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for taking the time to listen to me ramble and tell you just a small, small piece of my story. And believe me, it's a small piece, because it's been a really long 14 years. A really long 14 years. And I just want my baby back. And I don't know that I will ever get him, to be truthful. I love you too, Mariah. And we, us moms, as us, the families and the addicts, we all need you. We all need you. And I just want to come together and try. That's all I want. I just want to come together and try. So thanks for tuning in. And next week we will be at the normal scheduled time of noon on Tuesday for It's No Secret in memory of Tyler Matthews.